And that's actually a great segue. People who were wrong or got us into Iraq or lied us into Iraq and committed massive war crimes. Yes. George W. Bush.
Speaking of criminals.
Yeah, speaking of criminals. So he's having a little bit of a renaissance right now, Saagar. It is interesting because for a while he was just kind of quiet, like doing his painting at his ranch or whatever. I don't know if you agree with this, but it seems like he's starting to have the confidence to reinsert himself into our political conversation. We certainly saw that with that obnoxious, horrible 9/11 speech that he gave. No other president or former president spoke.
I couldn't believe that.
He did.
Right.
Horrible. And lacking in any, repentance or self-reflection or any of that, and making the case for a new domestic war on terror to match the horrific, unconscionable war on terror that he launched during his administration. Well, now he's getting the band back together. Liz Cheney in a lot of trouble there in Wyoming in her congressional race, but don't worry, the cavalry is riding in to back her up. Throw this invite up on the screen. Having a fundraiser with special guests, President George W. Bush, and some other familiar names on there. Yeah. In particular, you might note one Karl Rove is also on the committee, the finance committee there. So she's certainly not going to have an issue raising money. But I mean, this is why it's was so bizarre and troubling to see the way that MSNBC and CNN and mainstream Washington were propping up and cheering for Liz Cheney because she happened to be, correct on the one issue that seems to matter to them, which is Donald Trump. But meanwhile, you're going to align yourself with this dude who, I'm sorry, was way, way, way worse. Just put aside their personality traits. But in terms of the damage that he wrought on our country and on the world, there's no contest between George W. Bush and Donald Trump. And she's celebrated even as she's bringing back to life and aligning with these horrific Bush-era neocon war criminals.
There's nothing, that list there is like a murderer's row. Karl Rove, Harriet Miers, Kay Bailey. This is Bush Mafia. Kay Bailey Hutchins. She was a senator from Texas back whenever I was growing up. Yeah, my great senator, along with John Cornyn. A lot of these people from the Bush White House. And actually, I recently reread a history of the Bush years just because in order to get myself right before 9/11, so I could do that monologue that I did, I think, on September 14th. And it was incredible to me that even within the White House, so even within the neocon faction on Iraq, who do you think believed the most in the nation-building vision? It was Liz Cheney. She even believed in it more than her father, Dick Cheney, Rumsfeld, all of them. She was a true neoconservative believer, which means she herself is just as responsible for justifying that war. She pushed President Bush in order to stay the course and all of that. I mean, if you think about even the crimes of that, as opposed to, pushing for all the ridiculous stuff that she has in Congress, deregulation, et cetera, you put it all together and you're just this is the last person on earth anyone should be defending. And Bush is coming out for her for one reason, which is that she worked on his campaign, she worked in his administration, but she advances the vision that he put forth on the world. We know the consequences of that. And we both saw this video with great relish, an Iraq war veteran who actually interrupted Bush at one of his more recent speeches. And you can just see the passion in his face. He said a lot of what I've always wanted to say, what I think a lot of people wanted to say, and he has the actual credibility in order to say it to him. Let's take a listen to what he did.
Mr. Bush, when are you going to apologize for the million Iraqis that are dead because you lied? You lied about weapons of mass destruction. You lied about connections to 9/11. You lied about Iraq being a threat. You sent me to Iraq. You sent me to Iraq in 2003. My friends are dead. Joshua Castile. You killed people. You lied. You lied about WMD. A million Iraqis are dead because you lied. My friends are dead because you lied. You need to apologize. Apologize.
Wow.
Put it in my veins.
Yeah, it's just amazing. And also, who are these women manhandling this guy? He served in Iraq. Get the hell out of here. I mean, security, weird. Okay, that's one thing. But these little female organizers or whatever, I'm it shows some respect. You know?
It looked like it was
Like-
just like the lady who happened to be sitting next
Right.
to
I
him.
was
don't
like,
know.
what are you doing?
I did kind of like her beige jumpsuit, though. I will.
Yeah,
admit
look,
that.
they were dressed very nicely. I've been to some of these things, and sometimes you see these protesters, it's pretty annoying. But like these ones, veterans, you leave these people alone. I've even seen, I think Cindy Sheehan or whatever.
Yeah.
She lost her son.
Yep.
She can do whatever the hell she wants. Okay?
Agreed.
Yeah.
And
like
by the way, so this is Mike Prisner, who is, you guys may know, journalist Abby Martin. This couple, man, they go hard. They do not mess around. But I mean, I can't imagine anything more righteous. I mean, at the very least, given that this man has faced zero accountability, is now like a hero celebrated by resistance liberals.
by the media.
And absolutely, and routinely celebrated by the media as like, oh, those were the good old days under George W. Bush. At least for him to have to listen to that, at least for him to have to see the face of one of the men that he put through hell because of his lies and his atrocities, at least it's some modicum of something. So kudos. I mean, it's an amazing thing to watch, and it's far less, obviously, than what George W. Bush actually deserves.
It's far less than what he deserves. It gives me, I guess it makes me happy, because what it is that I was worried. I was like, are we forgetting? I'm like, are we forgetting what these people did? Are we like,
Mike hasn't forgotten.
The totality of it is almost hard to remember and to realize. Iraq, the trillions of dollars, the Iraqis who are dead, the Americans who are dead. I mean, people who died for nothing. I mean,
Yeah.
for lies. And I don't mean that in a derogatory term. I you know, their service always has to be remembered. I'm saying like they were put in harm's way by our leaders for a straight up lie.
And their legitimate, this is what, you know, this is like, it just really disturbs me. Their legitimate feelings of patriotism
Yes.
and desire for service and desire to do good in the world. You manipulated that
That's
and you
sick.
weaponized
Right.
that and sent them in many cases to their death or to be maimed or to, you know, end up with PTSD or traumatic brain injury that ruined their life. The milestones they missed at home, whether it was the birth of a child or a birthday or a graduation or whatever it was, like you did that. And at least for one moment, he had to look in the face of someone that he committed these crimes to.
Yeah, so props to him. I guarantee you he will not remember it. He sleeps just fine at night. He has like a religious zeal that he did the right thing, but you know, I think the rest of us should remember.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching.
That's right. Just as a reminder, you can become a premium subscriber today. Watch the full show completely uncut, our reactions to each other's monologues. You get to listen to it. You get to ask us questions, all that good stuff. Link is right there in the description or at breakingpoints.com.
Best of all, great way to say screw you to the mainstream media.